Hey guys, making another video today. Today about Hosea, verse from Hosea 6, because I was reading today in Matthew 12, and around those chapters, Jesus quotes Hosea 6:6 several times, which says, "I desire mercy, not sacrifice." And the full bit of that uh, idea in Hosea 6:6 is, I desire mercy, not sacrifice, and acknowledgement of God rather than burnt offerings. That's today's topic. I was about to say lesson, but I feel like I'm not qualified as a teacher to say lesson. But yeah. One of the biggest things I wanted to say about that is, especially among younger people in my generation, it's really sad to see with the way maybe it's influenced through social media, pop culture, or whatever's going on. But a lot of young people have it in them to always make sure they are putting themselves above others. Oh, if you're seen as somebody as less as somebody else in some social situation or social ladder, it's the end of the world. You can't let other people see that. It's not possible. The world's about to explode because this is happening to you. So you're just, lots of times young people will, at this point, just try to slander the other person, try to make fun of them, try to do anything they can to get back at the other person that they think is looking better than them, is doing better than them, is doing whatever better than them. And like I said, I don't even know where it really came from, but one of the biggest things I see about that is just the refusal to build each other up. A constant just, who can I tear down to gain more attention to myself through laughs? There's no mercy or humility in most of the young people in my generation. One of the things which I just said was there's no humility. Like in Zephaniah writes, seek righteousness and humility, and you may be sheltered in the day of God's wrath. And to be named as one of the two things he said there seems to be pretty important. And I'm making it the connection to the topic today because humility really goes hand in hand with so many things. Mercy, serving others, not giving into anger, not giving into whatever emotions that'll drag you down or cause you to drag others down. Humility is kind of the backbone of a lot of those things. And you're just not going to be able to be merciful to others, whether maybe you're in a position where you judge others, if you're literal judge or something. But in a social situation, you can judge others, be very, I'll just say mean to them, be very whatever, tear them down, never being willing to forgive, always just slandering, yelling at, and moving on rather than being willing to work things out and have mercy on others. Because lots of times it's going to happen where you just really don't think you should have mercy on the other person. Mercy is, in a social situation, it would be forgiveness. And that also goes with what Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount: if you do not forgive your fellow servant, the Father will not forgive you. So it's very important that we remember to be merciful to each other just as God has mercy on us every single day. That we just kind of don't ever even think about. It's always about, oh, this person slighted me in this way, this person blah, 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 this, and that. This person took this of mine that I wanted, this person that, this person that. It's always about me. It's always about that. And none of us are willing to have the disposition before something happens that we would allow someone else to take something that we wanted. Let's put it like that. Like if there's like one parking spot left in a parking lot and someone pulls into it, then you're out to get into it. I know most people watching, including myself, if anyone's even watching, would get mad immediately. You know, it might only be for a couple of seconds, but you know, you're gonna immediately in your head for a couple of seconds be like, how dare you, I went in that spot, couldn't you see I was gonna take it, blah, blah, blah. But you know, God says, don't be like that. If they took it, fine, go somewhere else. Don't let anger get to you. And mercy, be willing to let others have what you might want. And that is very, very, very difficult of I guess I'll just say predetermination to have in your mind. And most of us, including me, don't do that, like I said. Which is one thing I have to work on. Is like, if someone... Let me try to think of an example in personal life. I can't really think of one in like social situation wise, but I guess if I were to be, like I said, I play games still, you know, with other people. Well, not friends, as I've said before several times. I do not actually have any friends, but one of the things is if I were to talk to or play with people on a game, random people I don't actually know, you know, lots of times random people in games, if you haven't played them before, not very nice. I'll just put it like that. It can be very toxic kind of people you'll meet on video games. And in a social situation like that, it can be very easy to, you know, because there's no repercussion physically, there's not some actual person physically in front of you. So it's very easy to just turn on your mic and just yell back at them, this and that, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. But you know, I try to just laugh stuff off like that. It's all right. Who cares? If that person thinks they're better than me, so be it. If they are better than me, so be it. I don't care. It's just a game. If they're doing well, happy for them. But like I said, a lot of people in my generation would not be willing to accept that. Even as something as stupid and no meaning like a video game, if someone were to like be mean to them or something like that, they would go crazy, be like, how dare you, you're not better than me, I'm better than you, I'll say a bunch of words I can't repeat, trash, dog water, you know what I'm saying, if you played online games before with other people. And it's just a sorry thing to see in our world, where we're not willing to be forgiving of others or be merciful to others. You know, if someone in your friend group, you know, has been kind of slighting you, or, you know, I'll think of like in a social situation of someone like my age who's like at least the age of like 23, 24, 25, you're out of college, you're not like some high schooler or something. And if in your friend group at that point, someone's still just, annoying you, I'll put it like that, with something, God tells us, have patience and have mercy, just as I have with you. God tells us giving into emotions like anger immediately, annoyance immediately is not right. And it's, in the context of the Bible, in the Old Testament, it was, I desire mercy, not sacrifice. In that context, it was God wants us to be merciful to each other and loving to other man, rather than to just go and do whatever we want, hating on other people, doing whatever kind of sin, and just at the end of the day, just offering up a sacrifice. Oh, this will cover everything, and then I'll go back and be mean to other people again tomorrow. Is basically what's the surface level of what God was saying there. Obviously, there's more to it, but I'll go just with the surface level right there. And then, of course, Jesus says this to the Pharisees several times because they had become so just thinking they were above everyone else because they kept to the laws the strictest, and they were just the holiest of holy people, and they were the best this and that. And Jesus was basically saying, it gets to a point where following the law becomes toxic and wrong because you're so focused on that you think high and mighty of yourself, and you are unwilling to I'll just say, you're unwilling to be merciful to others when they might mess up. We do the same thing lots of times. It might not be in a religious context where we're saying we're a better religious person than this person we're annoyed at. But it's the same thing, where you just, in general, view ourselves as higher than each other. Even if we don't admit it, that's what we do. And Jesus says, no, that's wrong. And this leads you to hating on other people in your heart, viewing them as less than you, having less value than you, not having any love for others, and just making wrong and poor ethical choices. In today's world, it would be, don't be the person who is just constantly mean, maybe in a social situation or family or whatever, and then at the end of the day, you just say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. And, the cycle repeats over and over and over and over and over again. Do not be that kind of person. God desires you to be a merciful person that does not need to apologize in the first place. If you're unwilling to see that, then maybe you need to go isolate from your friends for a while and work on yourself, like I did. Or in some cases like mine, God will force you into being isolated for reasons like this. It's not always going to be easy to see past your immediate emotional reaction to things, but you need to be able to control your emotions for that exact reason, to be able to be merciful and make good decisions, not out of emotion, which I've been working on myself and everyone should work on. It's okay to be, I'll say okay, I shouldn't say it's plainly okay, but it's normal to be anxious or timid about things in social situations or thinking about things that are coming up. But don't let that control you, basically, into making decisions or saying things wrong to others because you're being controlled by your emotions. I say anxiety there because a lot of people suffer from that. Not so many people these days suffer with anger. It's like anxiety or something like that. And I have my whole life. For a long time, for me, it was I would bail on people. I would just not go out in the first place. I would not respond to people. I would not answer phone calls. I would just constantly be doing stuff like that because of anxiety. And I let it control me. And that was, in a way, putting myself above others because I'm just, tearing down what's going on with me, being like, oh, I need to leave and just go be on my own because I'm anxious. Be willing to put others above yourself, which goes hand in hand with mercy, and not being overly concerned with what's just best for you all the time, which is also very contrary to what this world teaches, because it teaches us, do what's best for you, what you think is best. Don't let other people control you. Don't this, and that. And yeah, you shouldn't let other people control you, but you shouldn't shouldn't just constantly only worry about yourself. It is good to think about of others above yourself. Even if you need to remind yourself to do that, it's fine, it happens. All of us. You're not going to just naturally think of others above yourself most of the time. Just practice humility and mercy, and you'll start to see a lot of other things fall in line. Hope everyone has a good night. Today is Tuesday, October 28th, I believe.